Hi, hello, if you're new here, I'm Natalie and welcome back to another cosy vlog. Today's video I'm so excited about because I genuinely think that the book I'll be reading as part of this vlog is going to become a new favourite. Obviously I wanted to bring you along for the ride. So what can you expect in today's video? Obviously we'll be doing lots of reading sprints, doing some cooking, some more cosy tasks, and also I have moved around the downstairs of my house a little bit. So I wanted to show you the new layout and share with you some plans that I've got to improve the space. So let me know what you think of the new background. I post a lot of cozy vlogs, reading challenges, book recommendations, and a whole lot more. So if that's your thing, don't forget to subscribe. I'd love to have you. So without further ado, on with the vlog. The book I'm planning to read today is Notes on an Execution by Dania Kukafka. I've started this and I am 16% in, and I am getting the 5-star feeling. If it carries on the way that it is, I have got such high hopes for this book. I am reading it on my Kindle, but I'm also listening to the audiobook at the same time because it's narrated by 2 voice actors and it's really enjoyable tandem reading it. So what is it about? I think it's like a thriller / horror, but it's definitely on the literary side, which is my favourite. The writing I was blown away with. The way that she starts the book is somebody that's waiting on death row. I think he's a serial unaliver, and you're hearing from his point of view, but also from his mother's from when he was a child. I haven't read the blurb on this. I haven't read any reviews on Goodreads. I've literally just seen a few people with a similar reading taste to me pick it up and love it. What I can glean about the premise is that it follows an inmate on death row who I don't think there's any doubt about that he's guilty. I wonder whether this is going to be a nature versus nurture story. His upbringing is quite horrendous, it's quite horrific, and I wonder whether this is going to examine whether he was born as a killer or whether his upbringing made him into a killer. I don't know, but they are really exciting questions to answer in a book like this. So if it does follow the route that I think it's going to, we're in for a good time. I'm going to make some lunch, get cozy, and carry on with the book. And obviously take you along with me. I'm trying to decide what to eat. Do I go healthy? I've got a garlic bread pizza. Oh my God, I went to go to a spin class this morning. There must have been loads of group activities and there was a lot of elderly ladies in the car park. Honestly, it's absolute bedlam. I mean, I was running a little bit late anyway because I got stuck behind the bin men. Got to the car park, tried to drive around it a few times and I just gave up and came home. We're probably going to be baking tomorrow, so I don't think garlic bread pizza is going to make that much of a difference, is it? And I'm going to have dinner tonight. I don't know where we're going, actually. Somewhere cash, somewhere chilled, where we can sit, have a chat, have some nice food. I'm excited, but I'm really hungry now, so we're going to have the pizza garlic bread. Yeah. The way it's told, it's like he's talking to himself. So he said, the first time you hurt someone, you were 11 years old and you did not know the difference between pain and wanting. It's definitely giving creepy vibes. The writing is so beautiful. On our way out, I'm gonna go and get some food. Although, thanks to that garlic bread pizza right earlier, I'm not actually that hungry. I'll just get like something small. It's gonna be really nice to catch up with one of my besties. And then I'll come back home and hopefully read some more. Or maybe watch something with Russ. We'll see. Have an hour left of my book to read. I was going to try and finish it last night, but you know what? I was so tired. Must have been that late dinner. I am enjoying it so much. It's actually quite tense. Sorry, Bruce is literally drinking a lake down here. I need to decide what to read after it. Got a couple in mind, so I'll go through my options with you. Let's get this finished and find out our final thoughts. I finished Notes on an Execution this morning, and oh my God, that book was incredible. When I tell you, the writing was so beautiful. And I was looking at reviews after I finished it, after I submitted my review on Fable, and a lot of people said that they didn't like it because they thought it was overwritten, but I did not feel like that. I absolutely loved it. It starts out and you're following a man as he's about to be executed, and it's sort of a countdown in hours. But what I love about this book is that it doesn't centre him, as quite often, you know, when horrendous cases like this come up in the news, it's often the offender who gets the limelight and the victims are just sort of known as a number, or they're just known as victims, and we don't really get to know them. But what I love about this book is that it follows all of the women that he has affected as part of his life. So initially it starts out following his mother, as I said in the beginning of the video, and then there are chapters sort of going back and forth throughout her life and what happens. Obviously, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm going to try and keep it as vague as possible. But also, when he's about 10 or 11 years old, he has an interaction with somebody, and then later on, she becomes quite a big part of the story. It's just so interesting how everything links together. This book made me cry. It's not a typical analysis of behaviours and why he does things. And actually, I think that's what makes this book so brilliant. It's more about the impact of one person's actions on somebody's life. I mean, I think everybody could take something different from this book, but this is just personally how it made me feel. It did examine a little bit about nature versus nurture, but it also examined what makes someone a good person, what makes someone bad. If certain events hadn't taken place, would this still have been the result? Like, do your upbringing and surroundings and moral codes that you're brought up by, affluence, role models, do these all affect what kind of person you're going to be? And also at the same time, obviously there is lots of people in the world that have had the most horrendous upbringings who then don't turn out to be serial killers. They manage to make their lives better and end the cycle of trauma. So yeah, there's so many things examined in this book, and it's just so beautifully portrayed. You're just sucked in from the very word go. And it does leave you, there's no doubt that he is the serial killer. Like, that is made very obvious from the first page. It does leave you conflicted, and it does make you question certain things. It was really interesting sort of seeing the story come together and the overall messaging about men that do these awful things, how they're almost put on a bit of a pedestal as being, you know, these extraordinarily clever men who do obviously the most horrendous things, when actually most of them are just ordinary men who act on the instinct to kill. And it's just such a good exploration of all these different themes, and the way that it's told is so engaging. There is kind of a mystery that unravels itself as you go along, but it's not so much of a thriller. I would say, if anything, I would say it's more of like a literary horror, because the things that happen in there are so grotesque. It does leave you with a sense of dread, but it feels so clever. If you know me at all, you know that kind of book that first of all makes me cry, second of all makes me question things in my own world and the way that I think, and obviously with beautiful literary writing and prose, that kind of book is always going to sit well with me as long as it's executed well. And this was just so good. So obviously, if you can't tell, I gave this 5 stars. I would say if you enjoy Tracy Sierra's type of writing, for example, Night Watching, I read that and I loved the writing style. I didn't actually love that book. I loved the beginning and the end of it. The middle was a bit boring for me, but her writing style, I think you would really enjoy this. Also, if you enjoy like the true crime aspect of thrillers or literary thrillers, I think that you would enjoy this as well. Anyway, that's the summary of that book. So I've already started the next one. Oh, hang on, let me go and grab it. The Hacienda by Isabel Canes. I'm listening to this on audio. It's really creepy so far. Beatrice married this guy. She's moved into his house and creepy things are starting to happen. I'm going to make some lunch now whilst I'm listening to the audio of this. And then I think we are going out shopping. We need to get some shelves. We need to get some frames as well, some photo frames. And then we will carry on reading The Hacienda, which I will be reading on my own at night. So wish me luck. Okay, see you in a bit. Oh, that's really close, sorry. I'm actually starving. So I'm very excited for this. I do normally make the thick pancakes, but today we wanted the thin ones. So I need to find my headphones and then carry on cooking. I'm just mouthing. I could just talk. So I am, a third of the way through? Flying through it. The writing is really easy to get into. So she's just met the priest, weird things happening around the house, and she needs some help. Like, she needs to find out what's going on. She thinks someone was unalived in the house, but that's all we know. Everything's still a mystery, but it's definitely creepy. It's got those gothic vibes. Obviously, I know from the blurb that there's going to be a bit of a romance between her and the priest. Just found out some stuff about the priest that's come to kind of help Beatrice, but then I paused it because me and Russ got some Chinese food. What did we watch? Civil War. Oh, it was really good. If you've seen the film I Am Lee, it's about Lee Miller, the famous war photographer. It was very similar to that, very cinematic. I loved it. Russ fell asleep, but I loved it. I've just gone upstairs now. I'm going to take my makeup off, maybe get a few pages in, but maybe not. I also just have a massive, inkling? No, I don't think that's urge to read Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I mean, I don't know if I am going to start that, but I did just buy the audiobook. But I do have the Kindle book of that as well. So maybe that might be a bit of nighttime reading. I will update you again in the morning. We've got lots to do tomorrow. Lots to do. And I still need to show you around the new layout of the downstairs, so I will do that. And I went to like a homeware shop near us yesterday and got some bits, so maybe a little bit of a homeware haul tomorrow as well. Anyway, I will speak to you in the morning. Night. Hello. It is a couple of days later. I did indeed finish The Hacienda a couple of days ago. I've been kind of dreading this review because it was quite a disappointing read for me, if I'm honest. I'm sorry about the noise if you can hear it in the background. It's my coffee machine. It literally sounds like a toilet. I just didn't love it. I wasn't invested. I didn't really care about the characters. The writing was good and it definitely had gothic vibes. But I'm wondering whether gothic horror is just not really my bag. I tend to prefer my horror a little bit more silly, with even more social commentary that's a bit more in your face. It was a little bit creepy at times, but I just kind of wanted it to be over. And that is not what you want, is it? I was just watching back some of the footage from a couple of days ago, and I even said, oh, I'm thinking about starting Encyclopedia of Fairies. That should have been an indicator to me right then and there that this book wasn't going to be a banger, because usually when I'm totally captivated with a book, like how I was with Notes on Execution, and yes, I did order a physical copy because I just had to have it. I loved it so much, I want it on my shelf. I didn't want to read anything else. This consumed my every waking thought. I don't need every book to be like that. In an ideal world, that would be amazing, but you have to have the highs and the lows to appreciate the highs, don't you? The type of haunted house stories that I enjoy, it's taking the piss out of the genre a little bit, but in a really fun and respectful way. One of my favourite haunted house stories is The September House by Carissa Orlando. I always find I have a much better time with those types of stories rather than one that's very serious and steeped in history, which obviously that's kind of the name of the game with gothic horror. So perhaps I've learned something about myself in this video, which is a good takeaway. So yeah, 3 stars. I did actually start Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. I started listening to it on audio because I do find that cozy books usually work really well for me in that format. I wasn't sure of it when I first started listening, but it slowly crept its way in. I don't know how far into it I am. I want to say about 20%. Wendell's just got to the cottage. And it's a lot of fun. It's whimsical, it's funny, it's sweet. It does have some darker elements in it as well, which I really love. So I'll be carrying on with this. And of course, give you my full thoughts on my biannual reading wrap up. I did also say, didn't I, that I was going to give you a little bit of a room tour and show you what I've changed in here. So hang on, let me do that. My bookshelves were against this wall and I had my sofa underneath. So what I've done is, because this is just one long room, I really needed something to separate the two, but I don't want a wall to go up there. 1, because obviously it costs a lot of money. 2, it will probably block the light if you care. But I have put my bookshelves here and it's supported on the other side by Bruce's crate and obviously the sofa pushed up against it. And I just love it. And then on the back of it, let me show you. I'm going to start like a bit of a plant wall. I don't know what I think about that. We'll decide once that's finished. So this area here, I'm going to put some shelves up, some long shelves, which are here. So I'm going to put those up on there. A few ornaments and things like that. And probably some more books. Like maybe it'd be like a favourite shelf or something. We also got a few bits when we went out on Saturday to go on the new shelf. I bought one of these from Primark and I haven't been able to find it again since. It's a mushroom battery lamp, which will be ideal going onto the shelf and we're not going to have like the wires coming down. So I thought that would look so sweet on the shelf, just because there's actually no lighting over this side of the room. These lights here, they're very bright. And who puts the big lights on? Does anyone actually put their big lights on? I never put my big lights on. I have lamps dotted everywhere. Maybe it's just a me thing. But yeah, so I've got that little lamp. Also, I mean, it's still wrapped up. A fake plant, obviously. I have a bit of an obsession with plants, as you can tell. I cannot, for the life of me, keep them alive, which is why I buy fake ones. And this, I just thought it was really cute, quite neutral. Don't know what that is. Wheatgrass. Is it wheatgrass? Natural grass. There you go. Could have just gone outside and picked it, but it's fake and it will stay alive. I also got these little tea light holders, which I just thought were absolutely adorable. There you go. I think they were like £4. I just thought they'd look really sweet. And the shelves, so I was looking at different sorts of shelves. I was going to get like normal size shelves, put 3 in a row kind of thing, but ignore those, I'm not using those. They sold this shelf, which is over a metre long, for £10. What an absolute bargain. I'm just waiting for Russ to bring his drill home and I've got some heavy duty shelf brackets up on that wall there, and there's 2 of them, so they'll go one underneath the other. But anyway, I'll show you when they're all up. I feel like it looks quite plain, and I want to just spruce it up, ready for the summer, because we'll have the back doors open. The garden needs doing as well. But anyway, this vlog is probably so long, so thank you if you've watched up until this point. Let me know your thoughts on any of the books that I have read. Did you enjoy them? Are you going to pick any of them up? So that's it. We've reached the end of the vlog. Thank you for joining me. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't already. And until the next one, I'll see you soon. Bye.